All right, so a couple things. Room's dirty again, but not because I'm filthy or dirty. It's because I'm making some upgrades to my system, and now boxes are everywhere. So, chapter 934. Cover is Usopp sitting on a picnic, you know, messing around with some birds or whatever. Chapter opens up with the Big Mom pirates circling Wano, speculating on what happened to Big Mom. You know, they're stating that she's still alive, in fact, because her Viva card is still intact. And they're saying that because King is patrolling the skies, they can't get close to Wano, but in his animal form, he's limited on what he can do, right? Because in his pterodon or pterodactyl form, he can only do what that animal can do. Yes, granted, he does still have crazy strength, but Smoothie can perform flying slashes, and on top of that, she's in the water, which plays into her devil fruit. Parasparrow can create candy constructs, so why not just make a giant candy wall and, you know, make them sticky or whatever. Montdora can like pseudo fly by jumping on his books, and he carries around a rifle, so you'd have to assume he's at least decent with it. Galette can control butter on an almost telekinetic level, and Daifuku has a genie that flies around with a goddamn glaive. I'm not saying that they should be able to beat King in the sky because that's his element. I'm just saying it should at least be a fight. It should at least be something that they can deal with, because they don't even have to beat him. All they have to do is hold him back long enough to make it to land. And if you want to say, oh, but what about the guys on the pillar shooting at them from, you know, the rock spires? You have a crew, a lot of which have skywalk. Why not go after them, commandeer the cannons, and you can aim for King? All I'm saying is that it should at least be a fight. And I also think that this confirms that Katakuri isn't on the ship with them, because if he was, I feel like he'd be able to handle King while the rest of the Big Mom pirates made it to shore. But, you know, that's just me. Parasparrow is saying that if Big Mom were to die, though, the crew would have to become the Parasparrow pirates, while practically everybody else, Daifuku mainly, is saying that it's obvious that Katakuri would become, you know, the next captain of the crew, which leads me, like, what's up with the hierarchy in Big Mom's crew? Is it seniority? Is it strength? If it was going by seniority, then what the hell is his name? Crap, I can't think of his name. But the cook, Streusen would have to become the new captain because he's the oldest member of the Big Mom pirates. And obviously, if it was going by strength, it would obviously go to Katakuri. But I don't think that's how you know, the succession of the crew would go. I think it would be the calmest, the most level-headed, which I think would have to be Smoothie in this case if anything would happen to Big Mom, because out of everybody on the crew, she is the only one who's putting people in their place, you know, telling them to shut the up. Don't take Big Mom so lightly. You know, Big Mom is not an average case of people falling into the water in enemy territory. She is the only one on this crew acting the way the entire crew of any other emperor would act if their captain were to fall into enemy territory or get separated from the crew. If Whitebeard were to be separated from his crew in this situation, they wouldn't go looking for him in a panic. No, they'd go, leave him alone. We might actually need to get away from the island in case he decides to go on a rampage. If Shanks were to get separated, we're not even gonna go into that. He's fucking Shanks. And if Blackbeard were to get separated from his crew, you know, we're not even gonna talk about Blackbeard because he's somewhat of an idiot. But cutting back over to Hitetsu, he's wondering why Momonosuke and Tama are going to Udon prison when they said that they were supposed to only be going to the beach where they found Big Mom. Which, now that I'm thinking about it, why were they going to the beach to begin with? Tama claims that as a Kunoichi, she'll protect Momonosuke, and Hitetsu yells at her because he's exclaiming that, you know, you're not even on the level of a novice yet. What claims do you have to be of being a Kunoichi? And to be honest, I'm kind of on the side of Hitetsu. What can Otama do at this point? Yes, she can tame animals to, you know, do her bidding. And now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, there are a bunch of smile users, but before she can tame a smile user, what can she do? She left both of her beasts back with Hitetsu. So, but Otama saying that she's the Kunoichi she's Momonosuke's Kunoichi is giving me Full Metal Alchemist vibes. I'm not sure if anybody else knows like Lanfan and Ling from Full Metal Alchemist, but I can imagine Momonosuke, you know, growing up to be this master swordsman and Otama being, you know, his loyal shadow. That's just something that Momonosuke and Otama remind me of. Ling and Lanfan from Full Metal Alchemist. Big Mom tamed the Croco Shark, and there's a moment where she's drooling at the thought of eating the food that she was promised at Udon prison while staring at Chopper, and I actually thought that was kind of funny. And she asked Chopper if they've met before since he called her Big Mom. And this is one of the issues that I have with the alliance idea of, you know, Big Mom becoming an ally through this whole situation, that, you know, the Straw Hats will be the reason she gets her memories back, and that's why she'll thank them and she'll be so grateful. She ends up forgiving them for everything that happened. To be honest, I don't see it happening, simply because, one, they're not, the way Chopper's treating Big Mom in this moment now, he's not helping her, he's using her as a weapon to further, you know, the Straw Hats' goals. And two, as much chaos as Luffy caused in Whole Cake Island, helping her get her memories back is not, I don't see that being enough for Big Mom to forgive. I don't see Big Mom forgiving Luffy for all of that simply because they help regain her memories. If anything, once she regains her memories and still retains the memories that she has in Wano, you know, the Straw Hats using her to bust up Kaido, to using her as a tool, she's gonna look at that as even more disrespect. She's not a weapon to be used at the leisure of some, I don't want to say rookie pirates, but pirates, they're rookies to her. And Chopper mentions that Napoleon hasn't said a word and wonders if he lost his memories too. I don't think the homies work that way. I think the homies that are made from her soul specifically act independently, and her losing her memories or whatever does not affect them because they're their own separate entities. And the homies that she made from other people's souls they are the only ones that are affected by, you know, a certain condition that she has, which we've seen in like Whole Cake Island when she was on a rampage because she was out of her mind. All of like the cannonballs and whatever were acting stupid, whereas Napoleon, Zeus, and Prometheus were just going about things normally. Finally get a map of Wano, and Kiku tells Big Mom that the trip that they're taking is gonna be a while. I think this is just padding for the next chapter or two, so it gives Chopper's group something to do while they're not in the next couple chapters, so we're not wondering why they're just sitting there while the rest of this is going on. This way we know what they're doing, and we know it's gonna take some time for them to reach the prison. And we also get the information that Zoro's been giving Momonosuke swordsmanship training like off panel. Do I like that as off panel? No. Do I like that Momonosuke is getting some type of training? Yes. This is giving me serious hope that he is joining the crew after Wano. People can argue that he has to stay behind to be the shogun of Wano. He has to rule the country. He is too young. He has no experience in ruling a country. He is still childish in his head. Being a young emperor, like, he's gonna run the country into the ground. There's no way Momonosuke is ruling a country after this. He let him join the Straw Hats, learn swordsmanship, learn navigation, learn from the outside world, and come back, and then he can rule the country. Momonosuke is joining the crew. Not Tama, not Kiku, not Kinemon, not Law, and definitely not fucking Carrot. But Kiku says that the call that Momonosuke is yelling out that Zoro taught him is something that he shouldn't be saying because it's some type of old saying in Curry. It's like an old practice. Now, Momonosuke said that he learned this from Zoro. Now, because this is an old practice in Curry, which is in Wano, does this mean that Zoro's from Wano? No, or at least I don't think so. It could just be a common phrase used among swordsmen. What I'm hoping for personally is that Zoro learned it from Koshiro, his sword master, Kuina's father, and I'm hoping that he either is from Wano or took part in some large event that happened in Wano. But back with Nami's group, they're wondering if Toko will be okay back in the pleasure hall where they left her. But my question is, why not keep her with them? Especially if Komurasaki was in on the plan to attack during the fire festival, because she had the slip, didn't she? So if she had that slip and she knew what it was, shouldn't Otoko know about the plan to attack during the fire festival as well? And if you believe the theory that Otoko's the witching hour boy, why not bring her into it unless they still don't know? But I think it's all just set up for Komurasaki to come back, which, well, I'll get into later. But still, even if she didn't know about the plan to attack during the fire festival, Orochi blames her for what happened at the castle. So why risk leaving her alone just for Orochi to attack and kill her, to hunt her down and kill her? It just doesn't make any sense. Robin's disappointed that she couldn't get as much information while infiltrating Orochi's castle, which I found this to be a real funny scene, because even though she says that she couldn't get a lot of information while infiltrating, she begins to list off like a goddamn book's worth of info. She got everything, literally everything. So what would have been a sufficient amount of information if this is disappointing for her? Brooks says that he found a poneglyph in the basement of the castle. It wasn't a roll poneglyph, so that leads me to believe that it could either be one of the Rio poneglyphs or a directional poneglyph that leads you to where other poneglyphs are. It says that the room is filled with Kokeshi dolls. I'm not sure what that is. I was too lazy to look it up. But the room could be some kind of collection room or a trophy room that Orochi keeps all his favorite items in. Or those Kokeshi dolls could be some type of security measure, maybe by a devil fruit user, who knows? And Robin starts to speculate what we all thought from the beginning, that Kaido's road poneglyph is on Onogashima Island, where Kaido is himself. And what's up with the poneglyph rubbings that Brook got from Whole Cake Island? Has Robin seen those already? Because we had 3 poneglyphs. The one that Jinbei had that he gave to Big Mom, the poneglyph that she already had, and then the road poneglyph that she had. If Robin saw those already, why didn't we get that on screen? Oda, please don't tell me that I hope Oda didn't off screen that. Back in Ebisu Town, Sanji is crying over Komurasaki's death. Is she dead? I don't personally think so. Otherwise, what would have been the point of giving her that backstory, the build up, and the pretty much straight out there hint that she's Lady Hiyori, Momonosuke's sister? So I don't see the point in killing off Komurasaki this early. I really don't. It just seems ludicrous to me. We also get the news that Kid escaped Udon prison, and that's a bummer in all honesty, because it blows my entire idea of him and Luffy breaking out of the prison together and eventually forming some type of temporary alliance, you know, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of deal. Now I'm thinking that when Big Mom shows up, that'll be, you know, the signal for Luffy to start his breakout, and on his way out he'll enlist the help of whoever was eating the poisonous fish inside that jail cell, similar to how Luffy recruited Jinbei and Impel Down to help go rescue Ace. Even though he doesn't know him, he knows that it's some type of friendly deal. Maybe the person inside that cell even met Ace, and Sanji is trying to fulfill his dream of peeking in on the women's bath now that he has his invisibility, which, even though it's stupid, I respect it. He's trying to fulfill his dream. Back in Udon prison, we find out that the old guy that Luffy gave all the meal tickets to is Hyogoro of the Flower, the former Yakuza boss before Kyoshiro. I'm actually curious as to what kind of Yakuza boss was he? Was he some type of force to be reckoned with, or was he, you know, the respectable boss that was kind to his subordinates, and that's why the thugs respected him, so they decided to just follow and protect him with all they can? Either way, that was a serious fall from power, from being a Yakuza head to the prison. But he's being beaten because of all the meal tickets that he has, you know, claiming that he's breaking the rules of the prison. And of course, Luffy jumps into the fight with a smile on his face. I love Luffy. He is willing to fight for the little man. Luffy's great. But the chapter ends with Queen rolling up to the prison, you know, just to get one shot by Big Mom and get handled by Luffy. I actually do want to see a Luffy versus Queen fight. I think it'd be interesting. I'm hoping next chapter we go over to Zoro's side and we see what he's up to, at least get some exposition from his side on the witching hour boy. And during the funeral for Komurasaki, we finally get confirmation of her being Lady Hiyori. And there's no chapter next week, so I'm gonna have to figure out something to do for that. Like the video if you did, comment down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.